Hello, welcome back to Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion. We've just about turned the tide on the Saxons, although I think we could be forced out of their lands in the next couple of turns. And we've also just declared war on the Alemanni, and we're just about ready to end the turn to see what happens next. But before we do, we're just going to make a small attempt to earn ourselves a little bit of easy money. That's okay, so we have to pay them, but they pay us. That's a really strange one, and they're not even asking for the map information anymore. But essentially they're giving us money, so obviously we're going to accept that. That's a pretty good deal. And I'm just going to try the exact same thing again. Can't remember how much it was I asked for. Probably 700 is too high, but okay. I think that means they're just not going to say yes to anything that we offer them, even if it's pretty cheap, so fine, we will skip over that. Over here, it could be time to build the muster field. One thing I'd really like to do that I should also mention is we're pretty far behind when it comes to our barracks buildings. So this is, I think, the barracks building of the previous tier of settlement we had. So we still have like 2 more tiers, or at least 1 more tier after that before we can actually start recruiting. Yeah, so we don't have the meeting hall yet. And then we need to get the Hall of Heroes, and then we need to get the 100-man hall. 100-men hall, I guess. And that enables us to recruit the Chosen Axemen, which is a big goal of mine, because they are just absolutely fantastic infantry units with bonus damage against most of the better units in the game. So that's going to be a bit of a priority, and to that end, I'm probably just going to go ahead and save a bit of money here. I forgot we were going to talk to these guys. I could give them a bit of map information too, although they do border us, and I don't want to give them a reason to come and attack us. I'd be tempted to offer them an alliance. I want to check if... That doesn't let me check if they have any problematic enemies or not, and I'm not sure an alliance is really going to help us that much, so I'm just going to forget about that. As the Goths are going to keep bribing us. Nothing new there. All seems fairly quiet, although the Alemanni have come to take back their town, or to stop me from taking it, with their main force, which is... kind of depends on the numbers. Let's check it out more closely. Yeah, so some of these are pretty weak, although they have... I think they've hired the mercenary golden bands, which is not great for us. But some of these units are fairly weak, so the Burgundian Lancers are pretty weak, Spear Warband's weak, and Peasants, doesn't even matter if they've got a full load of Peasants, they're still going to be pretty weak. But then, apart from that, they have got a few fairly solid units, so I think we should rush our way into the town before they can stop us. It says that it's not hugely in our favour, but I think this should be fairly easy to take advantage of. They have no response to our archers. Okay, so they're currently fairly near the walls. Barbarian Cav should be pretty easy for our archers to take advantage of, and in fact they're already in range, so that's great. We have to take a few of them out. That's why we've actually taken out many of them just from that first volley. They're still just about in range, so we'll be able to take out a few more. And yeah, it's going to be pretty hard for them to actually push on us. They do have 1 unit of Berserkers, that's the biggest threat of the bunch. But we know from experience that they're not the best at taking on warlords. So as long as we're prepared to respond to their cavalry with our spear warbands, and prepared to respond to their berserkers with our warlord, I think we're going to be okay here. As we are being shot by the towers, so let's make sure we move our archers in on the other side. This is a pretty undefended side. There is a watchtower over here, but on the other side, much more strongly defended. Watchtower is able to shoot our units quite easily, so we're going to try and hug pretty closely to this side. I don't think we're going to need the second ram, but it's there if we need it.
The way is open. Let your men kill all the cowards inside.
Okay, we're through, and we've managed to take out a few extra barbarian cavalry as a bit of a bonus. And if we lead with our spear warband, we should be pretty much completely safe. I think the berserkers are going to hug pretty closely to the town square. Our archers, meanwhile, still able to fire on them, and I suspect we're going to mostly kill this unit before it ever actually engages us in battle. We're going to bring our own berserkers in, although it's...
taken the walls. Now Now the streets will run with blood.
It's going to be awkward to retrain these if they do get killed, so I'm hoping we can avoid involving them too much, but we do have to be ready to potentially do so, as it looks like they're going to come in and attack our spear warband, so we're not really ready for this, but we don't really have a choice, and we do have such a great damage bonus on them that it doesn't really matter too much anyway. Completely clear out the entire unit, and we can now array ourselves properly and put the archers in the back. Defend them with the warlord, and we'll keep the berserkers in reserve at the back. There's a little bit of an obstacle here in the form of the hill. It's going to be kind of difficult to get into range without being kind of halfway up the hill, so we're going to have to kind of run these up. Probably the berserkers too, just in case their own berserkers kick into action. And we're going to spread our archers behind them. It might be that they wait until we start actually firing on them before they send their units out to attack us, but even so, we need to be ready just in case. The thing is, the berserkers, particularly at this difficulty setting, the berserkers are just going to absolutely destroy our spear warband. Every single hit is probably going to kill several of our spearmen, so we've got to be very much prepared for that. But hopefully the warlord being on the flank is going to make it slightly more workable, and we have got our own berserkers coming up to help us out in the back. So we're now firing on them, and they're going to charge in, I think, with their warlord. They're certainly considering it. So it looks like they're going to go for our own warlord, so we're going to need to turn this in our favour somehow. So we're going to run our spearmen in. Looks like the berserkers are preparing to come in. I might need help from my own here. Yeah, they've gone berserk, so they're going to come in any moment now. Probably just have to run absolutely everything in and attempt to get a few kills with our archers. They are pretty vulnerable to missiles, but even so, it's going to be hard to kill them off. And they are going to come through to our berserkers. We've routed... Oh, we've managed to rout the berserkers themselves. Perfect. Okay. That's great. So might be able to just avoid involving our berserkers altogether. So I'm pretty sure the warlord is going to go down any moment now.
The warlord, you have killed the enemy general.
Berserkers preparing to come back in. We'll just have to fire on them, as that is it.
From the field like fright.
Okay, that was not as bad as expected. I knew it would be a reasonably easy victory, but Berserker's morale is not quite as high as you might expect it to be. So we've taken a new town. That's going to be good for our income, but we're going to be under attack almost immediately. Even if they don't attack us here, they could easily reach Campus Alemanni from here. So not everything is okay just yet. However, we can potentially recruit some new units here. We're a little bit lacking in cavalry, so let's go for those. And I think we should also prepare to build up Campus Alemanni, although it's going to be pretty difficult to actually do anything in the space of one turn. This town is not particularly well prepared for producing large numbers of units very quickly. I'm curious what's going on here. Saxon army has showed up, but seems relatively weak to me. Try hitting it, as it actually wants to fight us. Okay, so what exactly are we up against? It's just some standard units. I'm not sure why they want to fight us, but I'll try and take them out. Okay, looks like they're actually sending the archers in first. Might be able to catch them out. I'm not sure. I think they've just got themselves in range. I'm going to try sending the horse archers around the back. Nothing else, we should be able to clean out the spear warband very quickly by shooting them from behind and from the front at the same time. This is a little bit risky, but I think there's just enough space here to pull off a full charge before the spearmen come in. It's a little bit more risky with the warlord here, as the levy spearmen can of course go for a ranged attack of their own. I'm able to do quite a lot of damage there. Surprised I got away with that. I'm now going to pull out. Managed to rout at least one unit. As it looks like because the levy spearmen actually stop to fire their projectiles before they charge in, that actually makes them pretty poor at defending the opposing archers, and now that we've done that, they have very little to actually defend from our own archers. So let's just send everyone in. Make sure we get our family members to safety, because they are pretty vulnerable to pretty much any projectiles, and perhaps we could try to chase down what's left of the opposing archers. So I expect they will regroup, so I might have to just full-on charge them. Obviously not ideal with mercenaries, but it's the safest option. What are these guys doing? I'm not sure what's happened here. They're all on skirmish mode, but I'm having a bit of a crisis of confidence in skirmish mode. It's not been working for me very well recently. As I think if we shoot these guys with flaming arrows, they're not going to take that very well. Over here, meanwhile, looks like we have successfully chased off at least one unit. There are 4 men left on their own, trying to defend over here. And if we shoot these guys from both sides at the same time, they will drop extremely quickly. We might be able to avoid engaging them with our infantry altogether, and just to try and make that certain, I'm gonna pull back all the way towards the edge of the map. That's what is going on. They just let them run straight into them. Still, I think that's mostly okay. We are going to take a few losses because they can go for their thrown attack. As yeah, pretty much any time one of those hits, it gets a kill. Still, I think we're mostly going to be okay here. Make sure these are in skirmish mode, and we have successfully broken our first batch of levy spearmen. Archers are, I think, running. Okay. They've gone a bit too far away, so let's bring them back up, and let's make sure our cav are staying out of range of their projectiles, which looks like they are. They're turning their backs to us. Perfect. We'll be able to shoot them down. Nice and easy. 27 levy spearmen there. We can probably just rout them with a nice charge, which leaves just the general unit left to go. I've taken a few losses. Have to be pretty careful because we're kind of at a bit of a borderline point now with the Saxons, where I'm not quite sure we're going to be strong enough to make a proper push. So these guys are being slowly chased down. I think they're actually leaving the field. So let's try and get as many kills as we can. I don't really want to go for a full charge on them if I don't have to. The fact that these guys are still coming towards us suggests to me that perhaps they're not leaving the field, and yet there's no other explanation for what's happening with the leader here. Let's try and bring him down. Pretty sure he's going to rout as soon as we hit him with the charge, so let's send the rest of our units back to take on these guys who appear to be also leaving the field, but via the exact opposite route. These are their units, so nothing to worry about there. We're still getting a few kills on them as they go past. I could try and charge into them with the Barbarian cav here. It's not going to be good if they do turn around and fight us.
The warlord of the enemy army is running like a startled goat. Hunt him. Goats make good eating.
I think our horse archers are going to take a bit too long to reach them now, so I'm going to try and just charge them and rout them. If we hit them in the back and they don't turn around at the last minute, we could just get an instant rout, which is going to be some very easy kills indeed. As, no, they've not routed. Okay, perfect, they've routed. And now we just need to make sure we keep the friendly fire to a minimum. And hopefully we've destroyed enough of these that they won't be coming back. 95%. I'm not sure about that. I think that might be just short. But definitely a good fight for us. And as usual, Chosen Warlord has done particularly well. But it will be interesting now to see exactly what they have left in their towns. Because in theory it looks like we could be able to push this. It looks like the Alemanni, assuming it's from the same merc pool, it looks like the Alemanni actually stole away the mercenary golden band we were looking at. Appears to be 3 mostly separate armies. This is the guy. No, it's not the guy we failed to kill. It's a 67-year-old faction leader, so if we're really lucky he'll just die of old age pretty soon. And then they have about 4 units in total, which is not much more than us. This is a little bit questionable. I think we're going to have to send a unit on its own just to scout out the capital. 5 units in there. I think we might not have enough to do this. Yeah, 5 units, but we don't know anything about them. And they can of course produce 1 extra unit in Campus Quadi every turn, so yeah, I'm not sure about this one. This might not quite be ideal to go for. Still, we've got 1,600 in the bank. Campus Lombardi not too happy. Let's see if we can get that next tier. of barracks building, which yes we can, and we've got 400 left in the bank, which is just enough to build one unit somewhere, wherever it's most needed. So Campus Alemanni can't build anything good enough, so it might have to be Campus Lombardi itself. We still don't really have access to any great units, with the exception of Lombard Berserkers. These are all kind of the bare minimum that we would need, so I think that does have to be a priority. This is not the best building, it's only going to enable us to recruit experienced spear warband, but a couple more steps and we will have an extremely good infantry unit on our hands. So yeah, I'm not sure if we can really go for Vicus Saxones, I assume that's what it's called. I'm not sure we can really go for that yet. If we go for Campus Quadi, we can hit that pretty soon. Kind of depends if they go into the town or not, but that does look like a better option than the capital. Hang on a moment. Okay, so this is actually part of a different mercenary pool, so if we're really lucky, it might not even be luck, we might just be able to afford the mercenary golden band next turn, and that should be enough to help us push into Campus Quadi, as the Vandals have declared war on the Western Roman Empire. Our spy has improved as a result of looking at the Alemanni, and let's have a little look at our financial situation. So we've got a projected treasury of 2,600, and if we spend our money it's going to be 2,200, which is enough to recruit a golden band, plus a little bit more afterwards. I'm going to have a quick look over at Vicus Vandali, just to see what we can build next. So we do need the Warlord's Hold, definitely. It's fairly cheap. And Campus Barbaricum is not going to be doing too much for a long time. Okay, so we have become separated from one of our weaker units of horse archers, but I think that's fine. They're not really going to do too much on their own.
Yes.
These guys are going to go to Campus Alemanni, where we can in fact retrain them. And that is all of our money gone, almost perfectly. Spy has already done his turn, and our 2 diplomats, I'm not sure we can do a lot with these. Doesn't appear to be any family member in the capital of Vicus Franki. I wouldn't be surprised if they're on their last legs. They are a horde faction.
Yes, master.
There's lots of Alemanni, but fairly small forces overall. An assassin to look out for. We might have to recruit one of our own pretty soon. And let's see about this. Can we bump the tax rate? Yes, we can. So that's going to make us a few extra hundred next turn. And in fact, let's check all of our tax rates at once. So Campus Alemanni I think is already very high, so we can't do anything with that. And yeah, that's about as good as we're going to get, so let's just end the turn. I expect we're going to have some trouble with the Alemanni here, but we'll see what they do. These guys have come to attack our lone unit. Not too surprising, but on the upside we have drawn them away from their town, and they haven't been able to finish us off, so that's perfect. Candidate for adoption, he's a good ambusher. He's pretty young, so he can be made stronger, and honestly I'll accept him just for the extra bit of strength, as it looks like the Alemanni have gone for an attack on Campus Quadi. Let's see what they have. Okay, so they've recruited another unit of Golden Band. That's really annoying because I think that's the exact one I had my eye on. Or no, perhaps not. So this appears to be part of a different pool. I think we can still reach it with Burkhard. Big red arrow there, but I'm pretty sure we're still fine. Only 2 units there to defend it. Let's just go for it. As I can actually see a rebel there. Fortunately, didn't get caught out by an ambush, but I mean, it wouldn't have been too bad. It's literally just a unit of archers and a couple of units of peasants. But still, don't have to fight those, and this stuff should be pretty easy to kill off. Golden Band alone should be able to slice through all of that stuff, so let's make sure. Build a couple of rams. And we could be attacked. I know there's a family member lurking around here somewhere, and they might all come back and just attack us all at the same time. Looks like they are in range to do that. But we can probably survive that. And let's have a look if we can also send over some Barbarian Cav. And we're left with 1,100 to spend. This place hasn't yet finished the meeting hall, so that's good. That gives us a little bit of freedom to spend elsewhere. This is going to be difficult, but I think doable. It's going to be all about the Berserkers. Fortunately, this particular army does look relatively vulnerable to Berserkers. We do have our new family member somewhere. Is he with Burkhard? No. That's the other guy. This is our new guy, so he's the governor of Campus Burgundiae. We could send him over to help out too. Or we could send him to the south. Thing is, we do have a fairly large frontier open now with Campus Alemanni and Campus Lombardi. Technically those are border towns, so they could be called out. I'm going to send them to the south. Campus Burgundiae should be pretty much completely safe now. Eastern Roman rebels have popped up. In my experience, they don't tend to stick around for too long, but we'll see. We know about that. We know about that, and we don't know about the Sarmatians declaring war on the Western Roman Empire, but I think this whole area of the map is just complete chaos right now. I'd be quite curious to get a look at it, but it's not exactly a priority, as I'm sure one of these is mine. So many pink-looking diplomats. Okay, so which of these guys can we potentially get some money from? It's mostly factions we've already spoken to, so I'm going to send this guy over to check out what's going on with the Huns. The Huns are allies, I think, with the Alemanni. Possibly someone else as well. Sarmatian diplomat, nothing too exciting there. So I'm going to send a spy to the west, just to check that there's no Alemanni backup coming in. Seems fairly okay so far. We've not seen everything. Okay. Not seen anything that worries me too much there, which is good. Let's have a look. Muster field is tempting, so we can actually start recruiting some units that only take the one turn. Other options, practice range would probably be slightly better, to be honest. Could start recruiting some Berserkers, since they're not actually besieging Campus Alemanni. I think there is a reasonable argument for that. But let's go ahead and recruit. I think Barbarian Cav, although they do have really bad stats, they're pretty good against the factions we're fighting at the moment. So I'm going to go for those. And I'm going to go for some Lombard archers in our capital. And I'm also going to send at least a couple of our units over to the next location. Just because it's pretty open to attack right now. And everything that's left over in here, I think we're going to have to start by dropping this tax rate down. Because I would like to take everything out of this town. Let's see, so it does immediately drop to 25%, but if we go to a normal tax rate and we hire some peasants, that should pretty much solve that problem. And now we should be able to reach this guy and attack him. It's considered to be pretty evenly matched, which is concerning. We definitely don't want to leave this guy under the control of the AI. Vithikab the Mean. Not sure what he's done to earn that reputation. But he's fairly decent. He's better as a governor than he is as an attacker. But I'd say he still has a decent chance. The issue here is we're going to be split, a little bit split. Although, I think we're going to be coming in from roughly the same direction. Alright, let's have a go. Okay, I had to reload the game because I accidentally gave control of my reinforcements to the AI, and the reinforcements in this case are the vast majority of the army. But as you can see, we are in a very bad battle map. I think that's fair to say. It's not good for us. They have this huge hill that they can start on, and unsurprisingly they do.
Eager for the taste of enemy blood.
They're on the move. I'm not sure where, but they are on the move. Appear to be moving towards us, although I don't think they'll move too far. This is a great location for them. They're kind of partly downhill right now, but it would make sense for them to pull back entirely onto the hill. And it's going to be really hard to crack this. We might just have to try and sneak around this way. I'm not really sure. Spear warbands do get bonus damage in the woods, but you have to remember these guys are barbarians too, which means they probably get lots of wood bonuses as well, of various different types. We're going to wait for our other units to come in. And I think we're just going to have to find some way to deploy that somehow enables us to not be screwed over by this gigantic hill. Okay, this is undoubtedly going to be extremely difficult to pull off. I've already had to waste half the time at just marching across the map and waiting for my spear warband to regain their composure. They were very tired for a little while. Now we're going to have to find some way of attacking up this hill, and I think this battle is going to come down entirely to whether or not the Berserkers can handle that, because we do have 4 units of them, which is more than ever. We're going to have to find some way to negate this hill advantage, which I think is probably going to involve hogging very close to the red line. Something like this. It's going to be really ridiculous. We're going to have to just completely hit them on one side, hopefully inspire a mass rout, as they appear to be rotating to meet that, but that's completely fine because... Oh, hang on. Are they making their move? I think they might be. Okay, we need to seriously respond to this. So they're going to have the hill advantage, I think. It looks like they are coming to fight us. They are better than us from range. Let's see. Are they actually coming all the way? Looks like they might be. No, they've changed their mind. Okay. That's completely fine. Happy to come from this direction. And honestly, just feeling pretty lucky that they haven't started firing on us yet with their archers. As it looks like they are preparing to do so. Still might just be able to catch them out using our cav if they do try that. Could also potentially send our cav around the back. I think there is a bit of an opening there now, there wasn't before. There's a chosen warlord who's going to be very uncomfortable to fight as. Yeah, they are able to fire on us now, so I think it's potentially time to make our move. They do outrange us. Okay, let's go for this. So we've already lost a large number of units, unfortunately. Gonna have to just run everyone in. Send our cav around the back as planned, and just hope for the best with the Berserkers, because this is not a good fight for us. We really don't want to be sending in these spear warbands to fight these particular types of units, but 7 spear warband perhaps we can handle. No way, we're actually routed already. That took absolutely no time whatsoever. Okay, gonna have to go full war cry. Send the general running. Everyone's got a war cry, and we have got to rout them as soon as possible. Barbarian cav there, hopefully we do have the advantage there. It's going to be all down to these guys. Are they strong enough to handle this large of a force? As no, it's looking really bad. Chosen warlord caught out by a charge there. We do have the hill advantage, I think, just here. You guys need to get involved for sure. As, we've managed to rout at least one of their units. Warlord coming in there. Spear warbands proving to be absolutely useless. But Berserkers still going. Cavalry, let's see if we can take out their general. That would be an absolute game changer if we can. They're down to their last 9. They've been caught out by the Golden Band, but we've got the kill. Now we should definitely try and take advantage of this hill if we can. Berserkers are pretty much focusing very heavily on like 2 guys, which is not what we need right now. We need them to actually take on the Golden Band, who are by far the bigger threat, as most of the opponents appear to be pulling back further up the hill, but Golden Band still fighting, Berserkers running in.
Your warlord has gone to his ancestors.
That's fine, that's the spearman, I think. Yeah, that's the spearman. That's fine. We can lose the spearman. Family members still alive with the cab. Up on the hill they've got Mercenary Golden Band, Chosen Archers, 2 units of... 1 unit of Chosen Archers, 1 unit of Lombard Archers, and a small number of other things. 3 Berserkers going in on their own. Can we perhaps discourage them? It's too soon for that. Some Burgundian Lancers coming in. Let's hope the Spear Warband can at least handle these. Nope, they're routed. Okay, I'm going to try and involve the general here, because we could lose a really disproportionately large number of units here, as I think the Berserkers might have absolutely won this for us. We'll see how well they do in this particular matchup. They have lost their general, so hopefully they'll lose their confidence pretty quick too. Gonna have to run everyone in. Peasants will rout very quickly, and looks like our warlord has managed to rescue our Spear Warband before it got completely destroyed. And we have lost quite a few of our Berserkers, but we've managed to rout the Golden Band, and we now have the hill advantage. We can hit the Chosen Archers, rout them too. Sadly we've only got the 1 cavalry unit to work with, but that appears to be all of them. I'm not sure what they've got left. Perhaps just 1 or 2 units somewhere. There we go. I think it was that one man who was holding the line, but I was not sure that was going to go too well, especially when that first Spear Warband broke. Spear Warband, really not the best units, but I think we've kind of pulled this off. Well, we've definitely pulled this off, but yeah, the question is, what exactly does this gain us? We still have quite a few Alemanni armies left to kill, I think. So I think our Berserkers are just about fast enough to run down these archers, yeah. So we run faster than them, so even our Berserkers are getting a few extra kills here. We're going to get as many as we can. We definitely need to make sure we kill off the chosen archers as much as possible. Fortunately, we only have these 19 men to get these kills with, but looks like we are going to catch out most of them. Okay, so we've killed off 77% of them, which is maybe not quite enough. I'm going to let these guys go and try to go after the chosen archers instead. Not sure we're going to be fast enough. They do appear to be going right to the corner though. Are we able to take them out completely? There's about 3 men left. That's it, we got them. Okay, so they can't retrain those, that's good. If they retrain the Lombard archers, that's not really a huge issue. As looks like some Berserkers are chasing down the final few units. Whoa, that was a massive strike. Knocked them out. About 10 of them in one go, I think. Just the one man left now, running from our Berserkers. The last of their forces. And I think we've already established he's slightly slower than us. So he's going to get thrown through the air probably as soon as they hit him. Let's have a look. There we go.
This is a...
Okay, I was not sure about that one, but went surprisingly well. Berserkers, I think, should get most of the credit for that, although Chosen Warlord, of course, did manage to do quite a lot. Spear Warbands completely failed. But that is the Berserkers in action, that is what they can do. And that is why we're depending on them pretty heavily at the moment. So it does look like our Berserker units have kind of joined each other, which is kind of a bad thing because ideally we could retrain them. Now we only have 2 to retrain. These guys can't go any further this turn. I think it is worth retraining these. Actually, we will hold off for now. We can retrain them in the space of 1 turn anytime we like. So that should be all good. And we're going to take our spy. I think I might have already moved him before I loaded the autosave, but yeah, we're going to take our spy and we're going to make a move towards the Alemanni capital. If it's really weak, we could potentially move on it, but we do have to bear in mind Campus Quadi is a border town of the Western Roman Empire who could be tempted to go for an opportunistic attack on us, which is all the more reason, I think, to probably get 1 more spy. And I would like to put up a few more watchtowers if we can. So let's send this guy right to the border. Could even drop a fort, which is going to annoy them a lot, but we can afford to do it. And it would stop them from attacking us, at least in the space of 1 turn. So I think there's a pretty good argument, although it looks like this particular location actually doesn't work for that. I'm kind of surprised by that. So they do have a town to the west and another town to the east, so there's no point taking a step in either direction and building a fort. That wouldn't work. Okay, that was slightly wasteful, but we can build a watchtower at least. And that will at least give us some idea if they're approaching with a large force. Plus he's a cavalry unit, so he can catch up to our infantry if we do go on the march, but I think definitely we're going to want to retrain. Okay, can't retrain yet. But yeah, we're definitely going to want to strengthen this force and potentially strike out to the west. It might be a little bit premature, but looking like we do have a pretty good opportunity to go for that. And I think those are all the big issues this turn dealt with. I do still have to get the upgraded Warlord's hold. And that's 800. I could get it if I cancel a few of the units, but they're actually doing fairly well on the public order. We've got a really large garrison there just to stave off the Roxolani if they decide to go for an opportunistic attack. So might actually be able to hold off public order problems for at least a little while longer. And we do have enough for one more watchtower if we want to just send a family member out somewhere, but I think in this case we probably don't. We could send this guy out. I know there were rebels down here at some point, so I have to be a little bit careful. There we go. Managed to withdraw though, so just about survived that, but damn, that nearly caught me. We can actually recruit Vandal Raider mercenaries here, and those are really solid. Upkeep's pretty high though, but they would be better, much better in fact, than our current archer options. I think it's worth bearing them in mind in case the Roxolani come for an attack. This might be part of the same mercenary pool, so they could hire them themselves. But if they do come for an attack and we can hire those are going to be a massive help, because right now we're just completely dependent on spear warbands. Let's have a look at our diplomat situation. So this guy is kind of doubling as a spy. So there's a family member with a few extra units, so I don't think we're ready to fight him. But I think they might just be down to their last 2 towns, which means they can't outproduce us, although they do have the help, obviously, of the Saxons against us. Still at war with the Burgundy. I'm hoping we can cancel that pretty soon. And our other diplomat is just beholding the chaos he was supposed to be. Again, forgot to move him after I loaded the autosave. But yeah, this is going to be a really interesting area, so we're going to keep an eye on it, especially on what the Western Roman Empire is up to. And that is all our money spent for this turn. These Franks are spying on us. I swear these guys are really weak, so I'm a bit surprised by that, but they've managed to drop our public order, so that's kind of annoying. Saxons don't appear to have made any effort to rescue their town. So I think we can actually have a go for that. It's very weakly defended. Definitely worth having an attempt. As well, we can actually recruit mercenary veterani. They're so expensive in upkeep, but they're also by far our best units, and in particular in this fight they would have a very easy time. In addition, we do really want to stop the Saxons from getting them, so they are very expensive in upkeep, but they're relatively cheap to hire, and we could just wipe out the Saxons and not worry too much about whether they get killed. These are also very expensive in upkeep, but again very solid, especially against cavalry. Which is good because we know they have at least a couple of family members lurking around. So I don't have to go for the Alemanni yet, but I could take this as an opportunity to finish off the Saxons. Looks like the Alemanni are going to come for me. Okay, so we need to make sure we do hire a few units in this town. So I think we can't recruit too much, just barbarian cavalry really. But we can kind of slowly filter spear warbands in this direction. So I might actually just skip Campus Marcomanni altogether, because I think they're not really going to go for that. They're going to go for Campus Quadi instead. And we will certainly keep a close eye on them with our spy. That seems like a pretty good location because we can see what the Franks are up to too. Sarmatians and Goths are at war with each other. I'm amazed the Goths are even still going, because I'm pretty sure they've just been getting killed by everything they've come across. But yeah, I think we're good to launch an attack on Campus Chatiai. But I am out of time, so we will leave that for the next part. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.